Criterion E commercial production. At this stage, prototypes have been developed to demonstrate proof of concept and tested successfully against the criteria detailed in the design brief and specifications. Students will modify their detailed design proposals appropriately for commercial manufacture. So the key part of this criterion is to move from your prototypes into commercial production, and it's going to be broken down into 3 sections. So explain design modifications, that'll be 2 pages. Justify materials and components for commercial production, that would be 2 pages. And then justify manufacturing techniques for commercial production would be 3 pages. So the first section, explain design modifications. For this section here, a detailed design should be modified in order to be compatible with the manufacturing techniques for commercial production and design specifications. So students need to identify design changes to materials and manufacturing techniques, and this can be done via annotated drawings, photographs, and revised CAD drawings. The next section, justify materials and components for commercial production. Prototypes need to be modified in order to make them suitable for commercial production with materials and components chosen, which are compatible with the manufacturing processes and design specifications. So students need to explain the scale of production, whether or not it's one-off, batch, mass production, mass customization, whatever suits your particular product, and it's normally based on cost, whether or not it's just in time, supply, or just in case. Physical and mechanical properties of the material, all of those types of things need to be considered to make it commercially viable. You then need to explain and justify which materials will be used for each component based on the commercial production. So we need to think about cost, improvement, material properties, aesthetics, reducing costs, all those types of things need to be considered in that part. The last part of Criterion E is justifying manufacturing techniques for commercial production. So we need to evaluate which manufacturing technique would need to be used to make your product commercially produced. So we need to think about things of whether or not you're going to have lean production strategies to reduce waste, whether or not you're going to have just-in-time manufacturing, what types of things you could do to improve performance to allow a specific material to be used or manufacturing process. So we look at things like injection molding. And you need to justify the manufacturing techniques for each of the components. And within that justification, we need to think about costs, supply, material choice, working properties of the materials. So if we have a look at example, here in this particular example is looking at a prototype for a bottle opener for people with arthritis. So we're looking here and it's looking at comparing, say, the prototype was made out of acrylic and for commercial production, polypropylene. And polypropylene is a really useful material in injection molding, which it states down here. And it also then links to the costs, because the target market are people who wouldn't want to spend too much money on particular items. And then it's also polypropylene, which is recycled. And just if we scroll through this example here, there's lots of links back to if the product was commercially produced with polypropylene, it would be better. Can be manufactured commercially. Mass customization, so referring to the type of manufacturing process that would be used. Just comparing processes, so in the prototype it was laser cutting, now it's going to be injection molding. And right at the very beginning it says injection molding is more appropriate for commercial production rather than laser cutting. So that makes it very clear that you're considering mass production. Down here we're looking at the injection molds that could be made up. So you could use CAD to create a mold for how that injection molding could look. Design modification, so proposed design has been annotated, just the changes for commercial production. There's a little sketch here that indicates how injection molding would work and then how that would work for your commercial production of your project if that was the selected manufacturing technique. Some more examples of how design modifications for commercial production could happen. Again, this is just looking at reducing cost and weight, which is very important because that's in the design specs and the marketing specs at the beginning. And if we just have a look now at how this particular one has been marked. Okay, so this student here has received a level 8, which is in this bracket down here. So justifies the choice of material and considering evidence based on the required properties and characteristics of the material. Justified choice of manufacturing based on the idea of mass production. Explains the need for design modifications and demonstrates them appropriately for commercial production. For the student to have achieved a 9 here, the things that could have been done is consider the implications of the choices of the modifications for cost effectiveness of the production and also the impact on the environment.